Well, people don't need more information. What they need is transformation. Hey, this is Pastor Matt here with your Missionary Pathway Mission Insight. And this Mission Insight, if you're watching it when it releases, is coming to you on Easter Monday morning. So chances are you're watching this and I am probably taking a nap somewhere because we just got done with Easter. But here is the crazy thought as we're coming out of Easter. Easter is the beautiful example of God offering the one thing we have always needed over and above anything else, which is transformation. Jesus literally rises from death into life and then offers us the same opportunity. He gives us a grace that we can't find anywhere else. The way I like to say it is this: literally, the resurrection changes everything. And as I was thinking about that, I was realizing we live in a culture where information is abundant, but over and above anything else, what people really need, what many people are looking for, is not more information. They're looking for transformation. And that's why I think the message of the gospel is so important, because that is what the gospel has always had the power to do, to transform us, to move us beyond our own ability, and to move us into a way of living that can only come from a new life in Jesus, giving us a new identity you can't find anywhere else, because the reality is the resurrection changes everything. And so this year at our church, we want to take an opportunity to just spend 7 weeks digging into the heart of grace and how grace and the resurrection transform everything. So as we were thinking about what to do, we said, well, what would it look like if we just took this starting point journal thing that we have here at Kairos and we just turned it into a message series? And so that's what we did. We created a message series called Gripped by Grace. And the heart of this series is really simple. It just helps people spend 7 weeks digging into the gospel and what the gospel means for their life, how grace has the power to change everything, how we don't live a faith out of performance, but we live a faith out of a new identity in Jesus, one in which Jesus literally went to the cross to pay it all and then conquered death to not only give us hope for a new life later, but hope for a new life today. And so what would it look like if you spent 7 weeks just digging in with people on grace? And so this Mission Insight is really simple. I just wanted to offer you an opportunity to spend some time digging into grace. And so that's actually why we created this series, Gripped by Grace, because the heart behind the series is really simple. We want people to get to spend some time realizing that the resurrection really does change everything, that grace is not just a concept we learn about, but it's literally the air we breathe as believers. And so we wanted to offer you the opportunity to be able to take part in that as well. So if you're looking for an opportunity, whether it's now after Easter or sometime down the road, to be able to just spend some time digging into grace, to be able to hand people a discipleship resource they could use to not only understand grace better for themselves, but to sit down with somebody else in the places they live, work, learn, and play, and be able to disciple them in what a life of grace looks like. That's the heart behind Gripped by Grace. Gripped by Grace is really almost like a simplified starting point journal, where you'll spend 7 weeks looking at 7 different devotions on grace, how we live in grace, the justification that God gives us, and then how that moves us into a life of sanctification. And then just some time to actually walk through a gospel together with somebody. Now, why did we create this journal? Why did we create this series? Well, it's really simple. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create series that can be a catalyst to people doing discipleship with the people around them, actually going out and trying to make disciples in the places they live, work, learn, and play. So when we create a journal like Gripped by Grace, we're not creating a journal that's designed to only be used in one message series at one time. We're creating a resource that can be used at any time. And so the heart behind this series is simple. It's to walk people through grace and what that means in their life today and the transformation that brings, because that's what people are really looking for. And then ultimately saying, hey, do you know you could walk somebody else through this too? And so as we do this, one of my hearts has always been not just to do something in a local church for just that local church, but to do it in a way where we could share it with the other churches we're in partnership with, other churches around the country that are also trying to help people understand what grace is and how people can live that out. And I think when you develop a resource like this, one of the most fun parts is not only to get to share it with your local church, but to share it with any church that wants to grab a hold of it. So we created these journals that you can grab on Amazon, but you know what? You could grab this entire series for free right here on the Kairos Network, because the reality is this: we know that we live in a culture where people are inundated with information, and what they really need is transformation. And we know that Jesus has already given us that transformation in the gospel. And the story of the resurrection is a story that literally changes everything for all of us. So we want to offer you an opportunity. If that's a series you want to dig into, check out the free resource we've got on the Kairos Network. You can download everything we're using right here in our local church faith that we're using for this message series. You can use the series branding. You can use some of the bumpers that we've created and any other resources that we've created. And then, of course, you can find the journals. Anything that's going to help you help somebody else connect with grace. That's the heart behind Gripped by Grace. It's an opportunity to show people in a world of information that Jesus is actually offering us transformation, and that transformation changes everything. Hey, if this mission insight is a help to you, if it's an encouragement, then take an opportunity, click like, subscribe, and share it out with somebody else. Because the heart behind these mission insights is really simple, that we would be able to help you learn how to share the gospel in the places you live, work, learn, and play, and ultimately how to make disciples in those places. And so if videos and resources like this are helpful, take an opportunity to share it with somebody else that might need it. And if you're looking for this resource, check out theKairosNetwork.com or click on the link in the description below, and you can check out the Gripped by Grace resource. We pray it's a blessing to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time on our Mission Insight.